I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I want to talk about stamp organization. Now, I have a previous video all about how I organize my stamps, and I'm still happy with the overall system, but it needs some tweaking, and I thought I would bring you guys along. One of the biggest things I believe about organization is that it's kind of always evolving, and you have to get a system that works for you, but that can also evolve with you. And that's what I'm going to work on today. I have a ton of stamps. I first made my stamp organization video about 18 months ago, and I've probably doubled my stamp collection in that time. So I have over 300 stamp sets that need to be organized in an efficient way. I want to keep them, but I also want to be able to find what I'm looking for, and that's kind of the problem I'm running into. They are contained really well. They're labeled, but in order to quickly find what I need so I can utilize my stamps more often, I definitely need to do a little bit of an update to my system. Let's start out. I will take you over and show you what my stamp organization looks like right now, and then tell you the issues that I'm having with it. Here is my current organization system. I have clear refrigerator bins from Target that are working really well. I use the Avery L large pockets, the clear pockets, and that is what I keep all of my stamps in, including larger sets. So for instance, this particular alpha set is actually a 6x8 stamp set. I cut those in half so that I can fit them all in there. I color code by company, and then I kind of keep them grouped by companies, and that is what I think needs to change. So for instance, all of these are from By the Well for God. I am on their creative team, so I receive By the Well for God stamps every single month, and they are amazing, but they cover a wide range of topics, and right now they're kind of just all in here all together, and so I don't necessarily know where certain ones are based on topic. And so I was thinking of rearranging the location of my stamp sets based on theme. So I like knowing the brand because certain brands have a certain style, so I know what I'm looking for. So I was considering maybe keeping the different colors so that I can quickly identify a brand, but also taking all of them out and reorganizing them by type, and then being type or theme, and then being able to label on the front. Okay, so here are the categories that I came up with just off the top of my head that I feel like most of my stamps will fit into. I'm going to bring them over, start dividing them up. Oh, I also want to include alphas. Those are already separated out, so I will keep all my alphas together. But we're going to go with these categories, and then as I'm sorting, I'm going to create kind of a miscellaneous pile, and then I will look through that pile to see if there are some different categories that need to happen within the miscellaneous pile. So I'll start bringing stamps over. I will probably put you guys on fast forward as I start sorting through, and then we'll see how this system works out. Okay, that is a lot of stamps, you guys. That's a ton of stamps. And all of this over here is miscellaneous. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move out the piles that I know already work. So, oops, that one's in the wrong one. So these are all faith stamps. These are holiday. This is fall, winter. This is spring, summer. These are all florals. Over here are background stamps and abstract stamps. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 piles of miscellaneous. So I'm going to move out the ones I already know are labeled. I'm going to put some post-it notes on the top of those piles, and then I'm going to figure out what other categories I can do to break down these miscellaneous stamps. Okay, let's talk about the next round of categories. After going through these and just laying eyes on them the first time, there are some categories that pop up. First of all, Jane Davenport, I'm going to keep all of those together. That is a very specific style of stamp. None of them are overtly within one of the other categories that I had, so I'm going to keep those together. And the same for most of my Felicity Jane. So I have Felicity Jane stamps. Some of them were very much a Christmas theme, or some of them were completely alphas, but I'm going to keep the rest of my Felicity Jane together. And the same with Paper Person. So those are 3 companies that I'm going to just take their stamps that don't fit into one of those main other categories, I think, and I'm going to keep them separate. So some of the other categories that came in my head would be people. So I have several that are like people based, that have people in them. Then I thought functional. And then there were some different styles. So I'm going to go with like we'll see. Let me do these. Let me pull these out and we'll see what else is left. So I'm going to sort based on this, remove those categories, and then go from there. Okay, as is often the case, as I'm organizing, I changed my mind because as I was looking through some of these stamps, they did have some things in common. So Jane Davenport, I still kept separate. Felicity Jane and Paper Person, though, I broke up. And let me show you what I decided to do. So this is sentiments. So these are ones that are primarily words, not necessarily faith-related words because those are separate, but sentiments, all kinds of different sentiments in here. So that is what this pile is. This pile is people. So either the stamp set is primarily of a person or has something in common, like they're all people based. And so I wanted those separate. So I'll label those as people. And then I actually broke down functional a little bit. So these are what I call functional stamps. They're days of the week. They're elements that you can use on all kinds of different pieces. Just very, very functional, everyday stamps. So I'm putting those under that category, functional. And then I also wanted to have a category. This one is icons. So these are, it might be a little loose, but like hearts, big icons. These are just stamp tags from like travel. Some labels, washi tape backgrounds, office pieces, rope, houses, phones, just big icons that you could use, arrows, a typewriter, big icons that you could use on a lot of different types of spreads or with a lot of different types of stories. So I have that. And then I did notice a few of these, and I'm going to call these industrial. They all had kind of the same feel to them, and I might have some more that end up getting added to this pile. So I might keep this pile over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove the ones that I'm happy with, and then I'm going to go through. My miscellaneous pile is getting smaller over here. It's still too big though to just be like all of that goes in one. So I've got to find some commonalities that I can work with in that pile. Okay, so breaking it down even more, lights and clocks seems to be a category, music, travel, industrial. I did not end up adding any more, although now that I think about it, I think there was a set of, here we go. These kind of feel industrial for sure. Okay, so adding that one on with the keys and such. That all goes. I'm going to move those. I'm down to a few stacks. I'm not really sure where I'm going to go from here. So here's my what's left over miscellaneous. It's definitely more manageable. And I may take a look to see if these fit into some other categories kind of loosely, but we'll remove again the ones that I've already sorted just so that they're not overwhelming. And then I'll take a fresh look at all of these sets. All right, so I pulled a few more sets out, put them in other categories, and otherwise I think I'm going to leave these as miscellaneous. So I know you guys are probably watching and seeing categories that they could fit in. I have some sets that are from collections from By the Well for God that all were released around the same time, so they have a kind of a similar feel, but I'm still not sure where I want them to go. So we're just gonna keep all of these and a miscellaneous that kind of goes against what I believe as far as like an ability to organize things, but sometimes you just need a miscellaneous pile. So this will be my miscellaneous stamp pile. I'll kind of gather these up and then put them in their own category, and we'll start to organize the stamps back into containers. Okay, so now they are back in containers by category. I just stuck the Post-its on the front of the containers so that I can make labels. And what I did was just take a piece of black cardstock to divide out the different categories, and I figured the order that they are in the front will be the order that they are going front to back, if that makes sense. It does bother me a little bit that it's like all these different colors all jumbled, but for what I do, it's helpful to be able to see the different companies because I have to be able to identify them by company, and so it's just easier to be able to spot what I'm looking for, perhaps within a theme, because there will be some different styles. So I will take my trusty little label maker, add some labels to the front, put these back on my shelves, and show you the finished product. Okay, here is the final product. While it might not look much different to you, the function is much improved. So we have the labels, all of the alpha stamps right here: spring, summer, fall, winter, and holiday, functional, sentiments, and icons all together, abstract, people, and Jane Davenport. Then on the next row, faith, music, and background, florals, travel, and industrial, miscellaneous. And then these are all my smaller stamps. That's probably a project for another day. Thank you so much for joining me today as I reorganized my stamp collection. I do think it's important to always be evaluating your systems and seeing what is most functional for you, and I'm super excited to dive into those stamps. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have listed supplies down below that I used to get organized, so if you are wanting to check those out, check the description box below. A special shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm so excited about our growing community. If you are interested in checking out the details of YouTube membership and the perks that they receive as members, make sure to click the join button below as well. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.